Hey everybody, welcome to Phandalin by Night. Look at all my amazing players at my amazing table. We are so excited that you guys are here with us tonight. I've unmuted everybody like I was supposed to. I don't have my checklist, so I'm a little bit freaking out. But Sarah up there in the corner, Garage Rage Rock, is going to be checking Twitch and letting me know if anything isn't right where it's supposed to be. So let's throw around and introduce ourselves, and then we will go. We'll jump right in because, man, some stuff gonna be happening. Okay, so let's start with the dead. Mike, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Mike, he, him. I'm going to be playing villain, also he, him, as far as I know, maybe. Uh, but stay tuned.
Okay. Sorry, I was switching maps while you were also saying that. And hopefully the audio worked well for everybody. I could see it moving, so that's a good sign. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, and over to the left of Mike is Sarah Prime.
Hello, my name is Sarah. I will be playing the half-orc barbarian Graja Rage Rock, and I'm trying to convert this sadness into rage, baby. So here we go.
You're going to do it. It's going to be highly effective. Below Sarah, we have Whimsy, our tiefling. Well, one of them. Tiefling, yeah.
So many people.
So many.
Amanda, she, her, playing Whimsy, he, him, who is very shattered that he had 4 friends and he's down 1. He has 3 friends and they need to go and avenge their fallen friend because he has so few friends he cannot afford to lose them.
Yes. That's okay, Whimsy. We're gonna make it work. You're gonna get revenge tonight, maybe, hopefully.
Vengeance!
Below Amanda, Najra.
Hi, I'm Najra. She, they. I play Jared, also she, they, the Fire Genasi monk, and we're gonna burn some goblins today.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that there is goblin pits aplenty. And then just above me, we have our other tiefling, Denny.
Hi there. My name's Nikki. I play Denny, he, him. Denny is experiencing a range of emotions this week. He is confused, he is angry, he is very sad, and he's going to work through his emotions by killing a whole bunch of goblins. So that's what he's up to today.
And importantly, Nikki, who is our familiar tonight?
Oh, sorry. This one is Abigail. She's an idiot. Aren't you, Abigail? Yeah. She's real dumb, but she tries very hard, and she's here for a good time.
That's all that matters. She is the trooper familiar, and we love her. Fantastic. And I am Sarah, she, her. I am the game master for Tuesday nights, and the player I'm the DM on Sundays, and I'm a player on Tuesdays. That's what it is. I'm the leader on Tuesdays, and so I just assume that I DM everywhere, but that's not necessarily true. Mike is the DM for Tuesday nights. I'll get with it. Okay, so tonight let's jump right into our story. Everybody, like, imagine power music playing in the background, some really like moody, ragey, intro music. When we started last week, we were like excited. We had just rolled initiative. There was amazing things going on. Jart started off our fight by doing like an amazing horse slide, handspring, punching one goblin unconscious, kicking another in the chest. Denny ran around smacking Belen's ass, giving him some heroism, and Whimsy was firing off eldritch blasts, but from a hidden position. We're gonna get more into that. There's questions. The goblins were experienced ambushers, however, and they quickly took out Velen, who took an arrow to the lung and fell to the ground. Graja was so unexpectedly caught off guard by the sudden eruption of violence that she rage cleaved, which would be an excellent album name for the music that for sure is probably playing right now. She rage cleaved 2 goblin heads directly from their bodies. As the group tried desperately to fight off the goblins, Velen fell unconscious and eventually succumbed to his wounds. The group released Velen's body to the river and headed off to hunt for goblin revenge. But Velen was not welcomed into the afterlife. The Raven Queen told him that his soul was not hers to take yet. She pushed him back to the material plane, and as his soul reconnected to physical form, the memories of dozens or hundreds of past lives and painful deaths came back to him. He heard anguished, oppressed, terrible cries of 1,000 languages, and instead of feeling empathetic or sad, ended up feeling powerful and relishing the pain and terror that he heard. And as a rising chant surrounded him, he was placed back into a body, naked and washed downriver, where he fell asleep from exhaustion on the bank. And as interested as we all are in what's going to happen to Velen and where he is and how we can reconnect him, I have straight up told Mike we're probably maybe not going to get to him anytime soon. So viewers, this is like my hook. You're going to have to hold on because we have goblins to kill, friends. So tell me, as you all have taken a few minutes to plunder the cart, finding healing kits, grabbing some snacks, I am going to grant you guys a short rest. Not in the way that typically short rests are granted, and that it's like easy going, you sit down, you take a breather. This is more like the alarms are sounding, we have to get ourselves in gear, go, 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 and that adrenaline is kind of pushing you guys through. And so it's not a traditional short rest. Don't count on it always going this way, but I'm allowing it for this circumstance. So pre-stream, I think you all took your short rest, took your healing dice if you chose to take those, and you guys are on your way. Where are you on your way to? That is my question. What are you all doing?
Whimsy's leading them back to where he last saw the goblins.
Okay.
So where he fired off his angry energy tentacles.
Lovely. Lovely.
So he's
Okay.
leading them back to there and then hoping they can pick up a trail again.
Sure. So you head into these thickets, up at, well, let me start by switching the map. How about that? I'll throw you guys onto the ambush map. So you had seen, up this way, in the thickets of these of these bushes, you had seen the goblins take off, and you kind of lost track of their bodies as they went. Can I get a marching order? Whimsy is obviously in the front directing. Where are the rest of you guys heading?
Garaja will go after Whimsy.
Okay.
So Jard's gonna take the rear then.
Okay, perfect. So Denny, you'll be right after Graja. Is that okay?
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Sounds excellent, excellent. So you guys head your way north, trying to catch that trail. I will get either Graja or Whimsy can make a survival check for me. To kind of read the bushes. Go ahead.
Whimsy, I feel like I got a good one here, so I'll do it if that's cool with you.
You can both roll them. That's okay.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought it was
go
one or
for
the
it.
other. Okay, cool. Here I go. Dice, why? Dice, why are you like this? I got a 6.
Okay.
God.
Whimsy.
I'm just waiting for D&D Beyond to stop giving me loading signals. Actually,
Okay,
load.
how about this? Whimsy, because you take the group right to where you last saw them. What I will say is that you are assisting Graja, and I will let Graja roll at advantage. How about that?
That is
All right.
probably the best.
So try again, Graja. Let's see if those dice are still betraying you this week.
And you said with advantage this time?
Well, roll again, and whichever one was the higher of the two.
Oh, okay, got it. Here I go. Oh my gosh. 7.
Okay, well,
I
so
Okay, it is
think
what it is.
we need like dice sponsorship. If someone's watching,
That's
we
right.
need your dice.
I need an exorcism.
yeah, we're gonna need to do some. I mean, it works for me, but you guys might need something. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, it doesn't work for me. I'm trying to tell the story too. So you guys take some time, and what I'll say is that it's hard. These goblins are experienced ambushers, and they know how to cover their tracks, and it takes you some time, the 4 of you kind of moving through the bush before you find a bit of a trail. And so by the time you guys are already on this trail, it's getting to be kind of the afternoon. So you guys go stomping through the bush. Excuse me. You guys go stomping through the bush like the backyardigans, and it's a good, like, you're a mile through the thicket and the thick pulling bushes, thorns scraping at your legs, but you're paying no attention. And then it kind of opens up a little bit, and there's a more clear trail that you can see. Another mile. This, you don't know how far this is going to go. Do you guys, is there anything you want to do? You're clearly on a trail. I'm just curious. I'm checking in with you guys. What do you guys want to do? Are you guys powering through? Are you guys trying to be quiet?
I think some stealth wouldn't be a bad idea, personally.
But I have to say, realistically, how stealthy are they going to be if they're pissed off?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there also.
Jared's gonna try to check the trail to see if she can figure out how old is it.
Sure, give me a survival check.
Oh gods. Oh, it's good. It's a 22.
22. You know, what you see is, especially now that you're through the thickets and onto this more steady path, you see that there are at least a dozen goblins who kind of come and go along this trail with regularity as you're starting to, like, look at the prints and look at the way that the plants are bent and the way that the gravel and the dirt is. The other thing that you notice is that there are signs of 2 larger than goblin-sized bodies being hauled towards the path that you guys are going. So away from the ambush site on this path. They have been hauled recently, within about the last 24 hours.
I wonder if this has anything to do with Gundren.
Yeah, I
There
think
were no bodies there. Maybe they're taking them to as hostages or something.
Maybe.
so. If we killed about 6 of them, we would be facing another 6 once we get there.
With one less person.
They will all die.
Except
yeah.
this time they might not be expecting us.
We're
It's
prepared
true.
this
And
time.
if they're in there, they might be able to help us with the goblins. If they're in all right shape, I wonder if Gundren might be able to do something with us. If we can manage to sneak in and get them out.
Okay.
So you want to try a stealthy approach then?
Maybe we should be on the stealthy side until we figure out exactly where these goblins are. Then once we know what we're up against, we can run in and kill them directly in the stupid faces.
And Garaja kind of like looks around like, not wanting to scout, not wanting to, just wanting to sort of rush in, but she kind of looks and is like, yeah, you're right. We gotta know what we're doing, and then we're avenging Velen.
Goblins. That's right.
So
Okay.
let's go slowly and paying attention.
Okay. Are you guys staying in the same marching order?
Whimsy might
Uh,
go back because he's out of where he knew. So he no longer
okay.
knows.
So I think it would still make sense then for Garaja to go first and sort of just assume Whimsy's place, because just I'm big, but I would like to be, so maybe just trying to shrink myself a little bit, my footfalls be a slightly lighter, things like that.
Okay. Okay, and then we're still okay with Denny, Jart, and then Whimsy?
No, I will take the back.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Whimsy's
Yes.
just swapping places with Gracia.
Perfect.
They're doing a swapsy.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Can do.
Just to
No
keep
problem.
the squishy ones in the middle.
Sure. Makes sense.
Who you
Completely.
calling?
So there are in the 5th edition of D&D, there are a couple of different game mechanics. So for those of you viewers who might be new, and for my players who might be new, there is the active abilities. So those are things that you would roll for. But there are also passives, which is there's just a granting that your character has had enough life experience that they just do kind of see things without necessarily having to roll for it and the chance of failure, which I think is a brilliant mechanic. Can I ask Graja, what is your passive perception? So it is on the side, on D&D Beyond, it's on the side below your saving throws.
Okay, I see it. So passive perception says 10.
10. Okay. Perfect. As you are being very cautious. You guys are being very quiet as you're walking down the path. You see that it does start to. There are times where you're walking down the path and it's a little bit more open, and there are times where the bushes start to come back in. About 10 minutes into you taking the lead, you are walking quieter. You are trying to be more aware of your surroundings. But your foot catches on something that you didn't necessarily notice as you were going. Can you make a dexterity saving throw for me?
I sure can. Here we go. Okay, 18.
18. It's one of those situations where like you feel a tightening of something around your ankle, and instead of a less experienced person than you, somebody who had less control over their body and had spent less time in the wilderness, probably would just either push through it or jump away, and you just kind of hold your place for a second. And as you look down, you notice that just barely bent, there is a piece of rope that your ankle is pushing into, that is slightly starting to wrap around your ankle.
Okay, so since I'm sort of like feeling that, and like as you described, I kind of want to like throw up my hand signal to the back to sort of like stop. And I don't want to say anything right away, but I want everyone behind me to stop if they see it. And then so it's still around my ankle though.
It's not all the way around, but you have started to. It was suspended across the path, and you have started to push into it. So it is kind of like this. It is a little bit started to.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I understand that better now. Okay, so then I kind of want to just like slowly back up
Okay.
from this to like stop the tension.
As you just pull your weight off of that foot, you don't even take a breath. You are just as silent as you can be, as still as you can be for a moment. It doesn't seem to have triggered. You think that you're probably okay.
Okay, so once I've taken a few, once the tension has been released and I want to take a couple of steps back, kind of again gesturing for everyone to like move back as well. And then I want to just stop again. And it, like quietly, I'll probably turn back to Whimsy and say, "There's a trap in the road. It's like a rope or a string, that type of thing. I didn't trip it. We're okay, but we need to go around it or disarm it or something like that."
Whimsy's gonna lean in and squint at where Grush is pointing. And then he's going to very cautiously step over it.
Sure.
And hope there's not another one on the other side.
Make an investigation check for me.
The dice rolls in slow motion.
That's okay. You guys are all just kind of, you've all stopped. Graja has pointed it out to everybody, and you're just kind of looking at it, looking around, just being extra aware, hyper aware of what's going on around you guys right now, waiting for a goblin to jump out, or hopefully not.
18. Or squinting at it real intently.
Yeah, you get down and you kind of look at where it is and you follow it along and you watch it wrap around and up, and you notice the counterweight now. It's this big boulder of a counterweight that if Graja had pushed through it, it would have wrapped around her foot and lifted her up in the air. The counterweight would have triggered off and lifted her up in the air. It was like a suspension snare. And so you kind of look at that and you notice that it would probably be pretty easy to just deactivate if you wanted to. You could just kind of slip it off without catching yourself in it.
I'll do that.
As you do, you get Graja to like position and hold the rope so that the boulder doesn't come crashing down. You guys are trying to be really stealthy, and you just kind of slip it out from under the little piece of twig that's hooked around it. And it does. Graja lowers it, and you guys have disabled that trap. So well done, friends. You carry on the way. You get about another mile, and it's not starting to get dark, but you, especially Graji and Jart, you guys have spent enough time in the wilderness to know that you're going to come on to that time sooner rather than later. Especially if you tried to like turn around and get back to the cart, it would be dark by the time you got back to the cart. Are you guys continuing on?
Yes.
Everyone has like good vision in the night, asks George.
That is my understanding. Yeah, I mean, I think we would be continuing because at this point, I mean, Graj is wondering about, well, if Gundren and the guy, like the people that sent them on this job, are potentially like, indisposed in some way or another. So like this would take priority, or we're trying to like sit there with the cart potentially. So that's my perspective.
And if they don't make it there, we're not getting paid.
That's what I'm thinking that in my cynical player mind, but Graj's cinnamon roll mind does not think of that. But yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so you guys carry on. Is the marching order staying the same?
Yeah, I
How's
think
Graza's night vision?
I think I have that. The features. Yes, dark vision. You can see in darkness up to 60 feet.
Awesome.
Okay.
Feel we all
Same
have
for
the
me.
same.
You
Yeah.
guys carry on. And just as you start to see a clearing appear ahead of you, you can hear you hear it first, but there is a slight sound of like a babbling brook along the on the eastern side as you guys are moving north. Um, there is a clearing that's going to open up in front of you. It's maybe about, I don't know, 100 meters, and you can see, you know, the lighter, the light. You can see the light as the trees kind of disappear, and the tree line is there at the edge, and you guys are going to be able to walk into a clearing. Is that your plan, to just walk into that clearing?
No, once we are about 100 feet, no, a little bit more, like 200 feet away from the clearing, Jar's gonna like signal them to stop, and she's gonna try to stealth forward. Uh, yeah, like trying to check it out if the goblins are there or not, and if it's safe or not to
Sure.
move on.
Give me a perception check.
Okay.
And I'm thinking about, can I hear anything? Is that
Give me a
also
perception check?
perception? Yeah, I'm thinking more in the sound area here.
17.
I also got a
Yay!
17.
You guys are
That's really
crazy.
weird.
Excellent.
Thanks.
You guys are in sync. The warriors have found
Yes.
their calling here, and you guys are in sync. You stealth forward, Jart. You make your way through. Your footfalls are very light. Graja, you're paying extra attention to just see if there's anything going on. You don't want another friend kind of ambushed. As you get fairly close to where that is, your foot steps forward and doesn't find solid footing.
Not like as if I'm gonna fall, or I just feel that there's like a hole in the ground.
It does not feel like there is solid ground. Like your foot is kind of hovering, and where it should be able to set down, there is not a sturdiness beneath it.
Okay. So, George is gonna stop. He's gonna give like half a step back so that foot doesn't like support itself wherever it was going to. And she's going to check, like get low and crouch and check the floor to see if it's another trap, maybe like a hole in the ground covered with like something.
Make an investigation check.
And
Or
where is
survival.
Graja?
Whatever you'd prefer.
And where is Graja in relationship to Jart?
Probably 60 feet back, let's say.
60 feet back. Okay, cool.
It's a 4.
As you kind of shimmy along, you like snake crawl and shimmy along on your belly, all of a sudden the ground kind of gives way underneath you. And you are now the front, only because you are laying down saves you from completely falling into this pit. But like your front, like I am sure that your core strength, like you do a lot of Pilates and like your core strength is probably phenomenal, but you like flop forward like a fish. Like you are in half hanging down into this pit. Graja, as you're watching her stop, take a step back, get down on her belly, and then her head disappears.
Oh boy. Okay. So I want to approach them then, like where I'm sort of positioned by their feet, because it's just the like sort of I can't see their head. Oh my god, I don't know what to do.
She lifts her arm, like
As you get kind
the
of close,
thumbs up.
as you
Gonna
as you kind of-
Terminator me.
Yeah, you don't see a head or anything. You just see a thumb rise
Yeah.
up from this like hole in the ground.
Okay, then I'm probably just gonna spot them then, kind of like wait for them to make another move until I like yank them or something.
Okay. Jar, you see that this pit is it's not necessarily too deep. It's about 10 feet deep. There doesn't look to be any like spikes driven into the ground. They're goblins, they're not like that smart. But it is about 6 feet wide. So you're going to have to kind of negotiate around it in order to get to the other side.
Okay, so once I've given it a good look, I am going to like do my best to try to shimmy back and just like lift my core and kind of turn around a little bit to get out. Sit in the ground, look at Graja, be like, okay, we have to move a little bit that way.
And I can like help them up, possibly like offer a hand to like stand back up. And then Graja will not. Yeah, that was a really close one.
Denny's going to peek his head out of the bush and go, "Is everybody okay? Can I come help? Are you all right?"
Just thumbs in the air.
Like,
all right, let me know.
I signal them to come and start to kind of like guide them around the hole.
All right. So as the clearing opens up, I'll change your map and center you guys. So hopefully Roll20 has centered for everybody. And Jart and Graja, you guys come out of this clearing first. And now you can clearly see this river, this kind of big stream. It's not a river, but it's a big stream running out of, there's kind of like a mouth of a cave up ahead of you. You can see the tree line as the clearing opens up and then kind of comes back together towards the cave entrance. You can see it's starting to become dusk. So it's, you know, kind of that weird, awkward time of day where your dark vision is starting to kick in and compensate, but it means that you're losing some of the color gradient of the world around you. But this is what you can see so far.
And I imagine that Graja, upon like seeing this sort of flowing water there in the twilight, like she gets a pang in her heart because remembering Velen and committing his body to the water, but she, you know, maybe her face contorts for a second in sort of just like pain, but she shakes it off. Okay. So Um,
The tracks we were following are they going like into the cave direction?
Yeah, you can see that on the other side of this stream, there is, here, I'll show you on the map here. There is the start of a path that leads into the cave. The stream completely touches the cave wall on the left, but on the right, there's a bit of a, there is a bit of a path that goes there.
So we have to get to the other side of the river to get into the cave.
You can go tromping through the stream if you want.
Which direction
my
is the
Phantom
stream
Lady
running?
went?
Is it running
Stream is
into the
coming
cave or
out of the cave?
out of the cave?
oh,
So
out
down
of the
the
cave.
stream.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, have I been saying into the cave? Stream is coming out of the cave.
That's okay. We're figuring out the lay of the land here. It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then, I mean, do we have to, I don't know that we have to actually go across. Could we just follow this? Because we're all on this left side or this. So could you just follow it in kind of? Would you have to cross?
Left side has no path,
No ground.
nowhere to walk on.
Oh, no ground. Okay.
Water's
Okay.
right against the
Yeah,
wall.
the ground
Under-
is on
Okay.
the right.
Understood.
It depends on how deep the river is. Like if it's too deep to ford, we're gonna lose all of our oxen, probably get dysentery. So we should really go at this.
Hey, wait a minute. What game are we in?
Surprise! We've left
Yeah,
Indy.
surprise. It's actually, it was Oregon Trail all along.
It was.
So yeah, Graja will look at the rest of the crew. I guess we gotta go across, and you know we gotta get moving. Getting dark.
Yeah.
Well, Whimsy's distinctly displeased with the idea of having to cross the river, but I guess.
Denny is too. He does not want to get his banjolele wet. So I'm gonna.
I was actually gonna ask, can I fireman carry both of them on my shoulders across the river?
Well,
I demand to be princess carried, actually.
the river.
Hey,
It'll
wait a
take
minute.
you two
About-
trips. You can princess or fireman carry both, but it'll take 2 trips.
Okay, 2 trips.
I'm happy to walk with the banjolele like held over my head if I need to, but like I'm okay to get wet. I just don't want her to get wet. You know what
Then
I mean?
oh, of course, very important. I will then princess carry Whimsy across the river then, because I feel a little miffed in this sort of like bougie behavior, but I was like, you know, I guess I'm feeling extra. Garage is feeling extra tender toward her party mates here. So Whimsy's getting carried by Graja.
In fairness,
Whimsy-
Whimsy just really wanted to be carried. It wasn't the actual water he was concerned with. It was the crossing,
needed a
not
hug.
the getting wet.
All right.
So he
Whimsy-
still displeased that he had to cross the river, but he was delighted that he got carried.
Okay.
As Graja leans in to kind of scoop you up, even though on the inside Graja is feeling a little bit marshmallow cinnamon roll right now, what you notice are these tusks, and you're both like, mad respect, that is ferocious, but also but nonetheless tender arms scoop you up and gently slosh across the river. It's the stream. It's not a river. It's not running particularly
Right.
fast.
Right.
Is there anybody here proficient in nature?
What? How do I know if
Sarah?
I'm proficient?
Nature will
little
have a
dot.
black dot if
I
you're
am.
proficient in it.
I am.
I am also.
If
Wow.
you
I
are
don't know if I am. Hold on,
proficient
sorry.
in nature, can you give me a nature check?
Sure. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm definitely not.
19.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay. We all roll or just Graja?
No, I'll let anybody who's proficient in nature roll this.
21.
Nice.
23.
Holy
Hey,
shit.
when the lowest of the rolls is a 19, that's good. You guys collectively, especially you, Whimsy, as you are being carried, you have time to just kind of study the scenery. It's like being the passenger driving along the Pacific Coast Highway. Like, you get to just see the beauty. And something strikes you. The the stream bed, the riverbed, is bigger than the source of water flowing out.
Is it dry season right now or something?
I don't
Whimsy
know.
asks of the group.
I
Go
know
for
nothing
it.
about nature, so yes.
I mean, it hasn't particularly been drought conditions. It's been a couple days, since there was any significant rain, but it's been kind of a normal season. So it's we never really set a time of year. So I'm gonna say it's kind of like early summer-ish.
A little early for dry season.
Do you think it could have something to do with the goblins? Do you think they're, I mean, I guess they're probably in this cave, so
Maybe they've got like a reservoir or something and a dam. Like, do they need
Maybe.
the water? What do they need water for? I mean, drinking, but
I don't
If you're
like that.
if you're right though, if they're keeping water up there somewhere, it seems like an awful lot of water that they're keeping up there. If it's enough to change the pattern of the stream, I'm not sure. That maybe it diverts somewhere. Maybe there's another entrance into the cave.
maybe we've got some sort of water wheel power system going.
Maybe.
We're going into steampunk game.
Yeah.
The goblins build steam mechs.
It's true.
Oh, they're way
The
more advanced than we
goblins-
are. Oh no.
Yeah, the goblins aren't the bad guys. The goblins are trying to just create clean energy for everybody.
Yeah,
Word.
that's the twist of it all. Now I guess about goblins. Would Graja have any like conception of like what do they get up to? Like what's their like because me, Sarah, new D&D player, I have no idea whatsoever. And I'm wondering, could Graja be like connect something about this weird thing with the water versus with something that goblins may get up to?
Yeah. Okay.
Shenanigans.
Definitely, because of the racial character that you play, goblins would definitely have been talked about where you grew up. So let me ask, you're a half orc, is that correct?
That's right.
Was your mom an orc or your dad?
My mom is an orc and my dad
Your
is a
mom
human.
is an orc. Did you grow up in an orc settlement or a human settlement?
The marriage was a human orc tribal alliance, so it was a mixed situation.
Okay. So, sometimes in the frigid frontier, as parts of the sword, as beyond the Sword Coast are called, sometimes you just need to ally yourself with other people and groups that can help you survive. And certainly your community would not have been the only human orc alliance. Orcs are have had time, while not all orcs, but some orc tribes find value and utility and honor in survival, whatever that looks like. And there are some orcs, they're kind of like Mandalorians. There are some that are purists who believe that you should only stay within yourself and this is the way and never take your helmet off, that kind of like purity. There are some orcs who find value and honor in other ways of expressing themselves. And your family comes from that lineage. And so you definitely grew up hearing stories of the old days when goblins used to be the servants or the slaves of orcs. And you would know that goblin society tends to be super cutthroat, tends to be hierarchical in that it is a bit of a patriarchy, and there's usually one in charge depending on how big the group is. There will be one in charge. Sometimes there's like a sub commander, but it tends to be a patriarchy, and there tends to be a leader. It's not egalitarian. It's not democratic. It is usually the power is kept through force. Goblins aren't considered technically adept or overly smart, and they're a bit ruthless. They do, however, the reason the orcs kept them around for so long is they do follow orders. So if these goblins are like the ones that you remember hearing about, those would be some things you would know.
Great, thank you. That's really helpful. So Graja will kind of think for a minute here, just processing this, and probably slightly unsettled at this sort of like unnatural way that the water is behaving. And she'll say, I mean, there were lots of stories about goblins where I grew up, and I'm worried about, what they're trying to do. If they're, have a bunch of water holding back. Like, obviously it's not something good. I'm worried that it's some kind of larger scale trap, or, serving some kind of, not good, not trying, keeping people out from something really kind of bad that they're doing. So I think we need to be really, really careful after this. And I mean, obviously we've seen traps already, like a bunch. So, I don't know. I don't know else how to prepare other than just be careful when we go in here. But, I mean, anybody else got any ideas about this?
Well, Denny's not overly familiar with goblins. His family are merchants. They've dealt with a lot of humans and dwarves, lots of fancy folk, because they're cloth merchants. So he hasn't really dealt with a lot of goblins. They, for some reason, don't buy a lot of silk robes. Don't know why. So Denny hasn't really had a lot of experience with them specifically, so he's kind of at a loss with this.
I guess we just try to be quiet about it. Gotta get our sneak.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do my best.
Gotta sneak you guys.
Where are you
Let's
guys
be prepared.
crossing? I'm sorry, Najra, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, like, let's be prepared for anything.
Yeah, definitely.
Where are you guys crossing the stream? I forgot to ask.
I want to go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Denny's gonna look for a spot that is seemingly the shallowest that he can find and try and cross there.
Sure, give me a nature check.
Okay. That's gonna be a 13.
13. You guys can see Denny looking carefully at it. It seems like somewhere along, oh, you guys can't see me dragging on the screen. Somewhere along here seems to be fairly shallow.
Okay.
George's gonna try to jump first over the stream to try to help Denny cross.
Sure, give me an athletics check.
Okay. This is 17.
Easily. You just kind of take a few steps back and launch yourself over, springing like a ballet dancer. There is a grace and an elegance, Graja, as you watch, I love that so much of our story gets narrated through Graja's like new eyes of experiencing this. Graja, as you watch, there is an elegance, a leanness to their body as Jart, gets across this stream. It's beautiful. It's really nice. And as Jart lands solidly and kind of feels it out, they reach their hand out for Denny, who's holding that banjolele up. Like, if Ziploc was a thing, he would have tried to wrap it up in Ziploc bags to keep it super safe. But Jart, as you hold your hand out, Denny, you're able to cross, no problem. You're kind of it. I assume that you're wearing boots that are kind of calf high.
They sure are. That's exactly what it is. They're nice riding boots.
I just knew. I knew what these boots were going to look like. I can't wait till we get to do in-person cosplay. Yes, it's going to be so epic. Yeah, and the water here goes just below kind of the lip of the boot, of like where the fold over is. So it's not, it doesn't get in. You don't have soggy socks or anything, and you're grateful for the leather. Graja, where are you carrying Whimsy across?
I was thinking just slightly above where Jart jumped over, so like here-ish.
Here-ish? Sure. No problem. As you get there, you can see that just beyond these trees, there is a bit of like an indent between where these trees are and the cave, kind of the outside, not the cave, but the outside of like this little hill that the cave seems to be in, curves around a bit.
Okay.
Can you see on the map?
I think so.
It's like,
yeah,
you can see that.
Oh, okay.
Kind of
Yeah.
Over.
Yes. Okay. So I will sort of relay that to Whimsy as I'm setting him down, like after I carry them across. You see that looks kind of like it kind of curves in there like that?
Looks a little shady.
Yeah.
It looks literally shady because the sun is starting to come down, and great shadows are being cast along the edge of this rock here.
So we're pretty much in the spotlight and we can't see them, but they could see us if there was someone in there.
I would like to move towards the shade.
Sure. You know what? I will get all of you guys to roll just a perception check for me.
Okay. Here we go.
17.
15.
I heard 17, 13, 15.
Still rolling in slow motion.
That's okay. I love that, like, even
20.
Whimsy's dice are not bothered. Like,
it's very on brand. It's on brand.
Like, just they'll roll when they
whenever
roll.
they want
Speaking
to.
of not bothered,
I love it.
Raja, when you put Whimsy down on the other side of the stream, you did feel like a shudder go through him. Like, you like sort of cringed when you crossed the river.
Gotcha.
Whimsy, did you roll a natural 20?
No, 18 plus 2.
18 plus 2. As you are trying your hardest not to think about being carried over water, as uncomfortable as you are, you try to focus on anything else, and you hear the faint sounds of snoring.
Alright, it's not me.
It's not you. No. Double check. Nope, not you.
Whimsy has a quick glance around, trying to figure out where it's coming from.
Seems
He doesn't want to think it's Graja either. He's pretty
Sure.
sure if being carried, he'd be able to hear if it was right in his ear.
It seems to be coming from beyond those trees and off towards where that rock is.
Yeah. Whimsy does a bit of a shush sound, and like,
And as soon as you guys notice Whimsy's finger go up, you guys all start to hear the rhythmic pattern of at least 2 snoring somethings from around those trees.
Jared's gonna. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, Jared's gonna like make a signal that like I'm going. And it's gonna start to like again very slowly and very stealthily moving towards the sound.
And Graja, I think, is sort of observing Jart as they make their first moves forward.
Okay. Jart, give me a stealth check.
It's a 9.
You try very carefully to just put one foot in front of the other, to be very steady on your feet, but the mud and the muck kind of captures and grabs at and bubbles around your boot, and you almost stumble for a second. As you come around that corner, you do notice that there are 2 goblins who seem to be asleep. Why can't I click them? And I'm just going to roll to see if they noticed you. Perception is with wisdom.
The panic.
Is it letting me roll and I just can't see it? Oh yeah, it did. And they rolled at disadvantage. They rolled an 8. So you quietly sneak your way around, and as you kind of start to fall and that squelching muck sound rises up and you just kind of freeze for a second, you hear one turn over and then you hear the snoring again. Both of these goblins are out.
Oh god. Okay. So since none of them woke up, she's gonna run and knock them both out.
Okay. Roll, because you can do two attacks, right?
And I guess I have advantage because they're prone?
You absolutely have advantage because they're asleep and they're prone.
Okay. So 15 for the first one. I think it
15
hits.
will hit. Yep.
Oh god, what is it? Okay. 7 points of damage for the first one. I think it's
Okay.
7 for him.
you said non-lethal, right? Or you said knockout, not kill?
Yeah, non-lethal.
Okay.
And the second one, it's a 14.
As you 14 with advantage,
Yeah. I rolled a 5 and a 9.
you lean down to punch one right on the temple. And as you go to kind of backhand the other one, it had just kind of and like moved out of your way and you just miss it.
Oh. Does he wakes up? If not. Let me see one thing. Yeah.
Apparently, it is all Sarah's who have awful rolls today because he does not wake up.
So I can try to hit them again.
You can go for it.
Well, this one hits. It's a 17.
Yeah, 17 will hit.
So another 7. Like I feel it's
Yeah.
auto crit as Velen said. So it's
Yeah,
a lot.
exactly.
So it's like 11.
So as it moves, you kind of end up leaning down on one elbow over it, holding your breath to not wake it up, like Mission Impossible style, and just bring your other arm and clock it straight across the face. And you have effectively knocked them both out. They are not going to be waking up anytime soon. I have put the X just so that we all understand that they're not in play, but they are not dead. You have not lethally killed them. They are just unconscious.
Okay, I think we should go in.
Whimsy wants to check the bodies, and he kind of wants to tie them up so they don't sneak up behind them when they wake up pissed off.
Sure, absolutely. Do you have
It's a good question.
rope?
I do. If you need
I
some
too
rope.
have rope. I too have rope.
Okay, so you guys work together to tie them up. We'll say for narrative flavor, you kind of tie them up back to back and shove them under some thickets so that they're not even going to be able to be seen. It's getting dark now. What is your plan?
Well, it's going to be dark in the cave no matter what.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And Graja, while we're all working to tie them up, like you can sort of see like a heavier rise and fall of her chest and shoulders. She really wants to kill them because she thinks that's only fair for what was done, but she's not, she's not going to say anything, but there's definitely she's wound tight at this point, tying them up.
Okay,
Also, I have a
Give him
question.
swift kick.
Are these the same two that Whimsy beat to hell with magic tentacles?
Make an insight check.
Oh, that's a great question.
Because if they just went for a nap and didn't tell anyone about us, then that's good. Investigation, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Or insight. You said insight.
I'm sorry, insight. Yes, please.
Sorry.
My
That's
bad.
good, because my investigation was terrible. So see what the insight is. God, why is everything so slow?
It's okay. It's okay.
Just the tension. It's okay.
It's gonna roll 6 times in a row now. So just take the first one. Come on. Come on. Off you.
While Whimsy's dice are being
Thinking about
whimsical, Graja, let me ask. When everybody's back is turned and you guys have moved on to whatever your next plan is, would Graja leave them alive? Or would Graja go over and finish the job?
I think Graja's gonna kill him.
Okay.
I think it's like the rage inherent.
Yeah.
So she will.
Do you happen to carry a dagger on you?
Trying to think. That would be really great right now, but I don't. I have hand axes, so they're like lighter.
Yeah.
Uh, So I probably would not. Obviously, I don't want to use my great axe here. So I'd probably go over, kind of calm, and let's see. I think she wants to just sort of like let loose, but that would be loud and
It would.
uh not good. So she's just gonna. I'm trying to think, how sharp is a hand axe? Like, can I just straight up cut their heads off?
I
Like,
mean,
just
I mean,
maybe not while
not with a
Whimsy's squinting at them, trying to figure out who they are.
not with a slicing motion. You could
Okay.
do like a cutting, or you could just
yeah.
like
I'll
they're
just
probably
slit their
sharp enough
throats.
to do that. Sure.
Yes,
Sure.
I'll slit
But
both
not
of their throats.
not as Whimsy is like studying them intently. You're not doing that.
No.
14
After
by-
that.
14. Whimsy, as you look, you know that that these black, smoky, oily tentacles that you evoke, while they are evoked, they do leave some physical marks, and also the goblins that you guys were fighting were in a combat. At least one of them was hit. These do not seem like those ones. These are different ones.
Different ones. So I kind of mentioned that to everyone. I'm like, these aren't the two who got away, so there's more.
In the meantime,
And-
everyone's looking at the hole, like the cave, while Graja is just slitting their throats, I think.
As you guys move close to the cave, Jart taking the lead, which seems kind of normal. Jart's a little bit quieter, and is just kind of taking the lead. Graja trying to keep the squishies in the middle. Graja goes to follow up the rear. It doesn't really occur. Well, Denny, give me a perception check.
Okay.
I have a
And Graja,
really
give me a
high
stealth check.
passive insight, too.
A passive insight. Jart, you see that Graja is seething. As you guys are tying up these goblins, Graja is not happy about it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, my perception was 15.
15. What was your stealth there, Graja?
Okay, I wasn't sure if I heard right, so I wanted to make sure. Stealth.
Yes, please, stealth.
My stealth is 12.
Jart, you notice that Graja is seething, but you've gone to take the lead to head the group into the cavern. Denny, you do notice that Graja's footfalls are not directly behind you. And you turn your head and you do see something. Are you going to say anything?
I'm going to glance back at my compatriots, and they haven't noticed anything, the ones that are heading into the cave.
No.
So I'm going to turn back to Graja and toss her a dagger. Just kind of thunk it into the ground by her.
As Graja, as you are getting ready to you're trying to manipulate these little goblin bodies and to drag the hooked edge, thunk, a little dagger sinks into the ground right next to you. You recognize it. It's one that Denny's been carrying.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up and use that.
You quickly and quietly finish the job. Just doing what needs to be done here to start the job of setting this right. And you silently get up, dragging the dagger along the grass to get any of the black Icarus blood out, and flip the dagger over, handing it back to Denny as you guys follow Jart and Whimsy into the cave.
And Graja doesn't say anything. She'll just nod in acknowledgement to Denny while handing back the dagger. And there's slightly less tension now. It's still there, but probably just a almost imperceptible relaxation of the body language as she thinks that we're beginning to set it right, as the DM said.
Jart, you are focused on what you've got ahead of you. Hearing the cave, if you know, for anybody who's ever been at the mouth of a cave where there are things happening inside, you do hear snippets of hollow sounds as they echo off the water and the cave ceiling. You notice that the cave slopes up and in. You notice that it is very dark inside. It doesn't just looking at the mouth of this cave, it doesn't appear that there's pinpricks of light. There is rubble and crumbling rock and gravel along the left side of the water. But the sound of water, the water streaming out, muffles a lot of other sounds. Can you give me a perception check?
The 17.
17. One noise that distinctly catches your ear as being closer than other noises that you hear is the snarling and snapping of some kind of dog or wolf.
Okay. So I am going to like turn around very softly, tell that to him, say like it seems there's dogs or wolves or something inside. And
Nods quietly.
And I'm gonna try to very carefully and checking for traps because we've encountered so many in the way here.
Yeah.
Start moving forward.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
I'm scared of my die. Okay. It's a 15.
So just inside this cave mouth, there are a few uneven stone steps that lead up into this small dank chamber on the east side of this passage. You can see the steps. Let me just get into the map again. The stench of animals. You've been around animals. Whatever is in here has not been cared for well. There is a stench of big dog, wolf, canines that are kept in a small space and are not like taken care of. You know that smell when like you've been gone for overnight and you come home to your dog and just your whole house smells like dog? Savage snarls and the sounds of rattling chains greet your ears. And as you kind of peek your head around the corner, you see 3 wolves are chained up just inside the opening. Each wolf has a chain that leads to an iron rod driven into the base of a stalagmite. And at the far end of this room is the cave narrows into a steep fissure at the far end. So let me reveal this space to you.
And towards like the other passageway, like the top, is that closed or does that continue?
Nope, it also continues.
Okay. Gosh.
What order are we in? Like, do we all see this, or is it just Jart that sees this?
Jart has just kind of peeked their head around the corner looking into where these wolves are. They seemingly haven't spotted Jart yet. And then Whimsy, Denny, and Graja.
So she's gonna like push back a little bit and turn around and be like, There's 3 dogs. Um, like more like wolves, so bigger. I
Big
think
Are they are they just free or are they tied up?
they are chained, so we could try to outrun them, or we could try to go through that path that it's free. But I guess if there's no one taking care of that, uh, there's probably nothing that important that way.
Well,
But they wouldn't have the dogs there if there wasn't something.
Yeah, exactly.
well,
Like,
this is the first chamber that we've come across after the clearing. Maybe these wolves are here as like an alarm system. Maybe if we try and get past them, they'll smell us and start barking, alerting everybody else in this area. So maybe we should either go into the river and swim up past them so that they can't smell us, like a possum escaping a hunting dog, or we should try and get into this room and dispatch these dogs one way or the other. I'm not sure which way you guys are leaning on killing animals, but I think either way we need to be very careful about what we're about to do here.
Did one of you just whisper, "I want one"?
Who do you think? Who do you think said that?
yeah,
Sure. Uh-huh.
I just lost a friend. I need a new one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually had a
Mike.
question.
Burn,
Oh.
friend. Okay, go ahead.
So I have rations, right?
Yeah,
I wonder, is there dried meat in there that I
Absolutely.
could throw to the dogs to basically just distract them?
You can
That's my. I would like to try.
here
can
is one of my
certainly
favorite
try.
phrases as a DM. You can
yeah.
certainly
you can
try.
certainly try.
I've heard Steve say that to me so many times in the vampire game. I'm afraid now, but I mean, okay, so back into character here.
Sure.
Graja will sort of look at the group, especially Jard, because they're up there at the front.
Can I
I-
ask,
Sure.
Raja, how controlled is Graja's understanding of life and death? Like, yes, you have rations with dried bits of like jerky. You also literally just created fresh meat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Graja would probably
I don't mean
put
to be
that.
the gross one here.
No, that's a splendid
I'm
idea, and I think
just
Graja
trying
would.
to think like Graja might be
I
that.
would, and I mean, the way I envisioned her upbringing is that it was a rough rural
Yeah.
life. Things die, and especially in terms of like enemies and things in nature. So
Yeah.
okay, so Graja
Which
then
is why
will.
I bring it up, because the
Yeah.
way that you had described it to me, I was like, oh, they're a few steps short of the Donner Party. Like they are in the wilderness and they're gonna do what it takes to survive. Is the only reason.
Absolutely. No, that is a great point. So Graja then I guess will look at the group. She sort of maybe will pat that part of her belt or wherever she's carrying her rations, and she'll sort of think a second and go, and then look back towards the where the goblin's blood has just been spilt, and the sort of instinct from her upbringing will take over at that point. She'll look at the group. I am going to take a goblin and throw it to the wolves. There must be hungry, and this is the way it is. Does anyone have a problem with that?
Denny is going to definitely agree with this course of action. Denny's got pretty good animal handling. I feel like Denny's been in and around a lot of animals his life. And Denny understands that these wolves have not been well cared for. They have clearly been forced to work for these goblins. So I think that, or Denny thinks that these wolves might even enjoy getting a little bit of comeuppance themselves to these goblins.
I think that's in Garage's mind at this point too, is that this is just serving the natural order of things being put right here. And so Garage will look at Jart and Whimsy. This way we don't waste any rations.
Is this normal for here?
Uh,
Is eating your fallen enemies a common problem? Like, is this usual?
not where I come from.
No, I mean we usually had food.
Where I come from, most of the animals can talk, and it makes it weird to have a conversation with your dinner. So I don't eat meat. I don't know what the normal thing is here.
Jart's gonna like look Raja straight in the eyes and he's gonna ask, "Are they alive?"
No.
Graja, Jart, your insight is good enough that you know what has happened. You know what Graja's done. And so any ethical concern you have around feeding a live goblin to the wolf is not an ethical consideration.
So, go ahead.
And her gaze will linger on Jart for a moment and then look over at Whimsy one last time. Nothing is normal. Our friend is dead. So now, whatever it takes. And with that, she will retrieve a body. I guess I don't really know how big they are. I think one, let's see, there are 3 in there. So I probably will. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, so yeah, I'm not 100% sure how large a goblin is.
Like
Not
goblins
very
can
big.
ride wolves as though they're mounts.
Oh, then I wanna grab both of them then.
Okay.
And
you can
I'll
firemen carry 2 goblins.
Okay,
That's no problem.
I will. So I'll carry both of them over the shoulders, and then I'm just moving forward. You know, not trying to stomp or anything, but to round that corner and then just chuck them in there.
Sure.
Give
me a strength check to just see how far you can goblin toss. That sounds like an awful game.
This has got a goblin toss.
Use sports.
Yeah.
Should have that in the
25! Nat 20! Woo! Yeah!
There is this thinly veiled rage that has carried you through to this moment, and there is a natural order to things, and there is honor in the fact that not only have you slain your enemy, you now get to take away its honorable death in battle by letting it be feasted upon and letting it be desecrated. There is goodness and righteousness in this, and you just, without even you don't even have to huck them, you just get them, dogs, and toss them right into where these dogs are. These dogs look kind of surprised and startled to see you, and as they start to snarl, you fling these 2 goblins at them, and they devour instantly. These dogs were hungry. At Graja, as you actually get to see these wolves for the first time, they are mangy. They have spots missing from them. They have bite marks and scars, and one of them's ear is kind of hanging. They clearly are vicious with each other and have not been treated well. The chains that wrap around their necks are rusted and cutting into the fur of one of them. These wolves are being mistreated is not a good enough word for the abuse that these wolves have had. The fact that you get to set this right, Denny, as you hear the sounds, you are too good of a creature to find joy in the sound that is coming, but there is a goodness to the karmic balance that is being restored in this moment. And that's where we're going to hold with you guys. And we're going to skip over to Mike. Mike, the heat of the morning sun bakes across your fair, pale skin. You notice it particularly in long, pointed ears. And as you go to kind of rub a hand up to brush off the slight burning sensation, your fingers tangle in wet, long locks. On one side. The other side is clean shaven, and the hair just wraps around this side. Long, braided delicately, not like a standard braid, like loops and well taken care of. Beads in your hair, and as you go to push your body up from the bank of the river that you find yourself on, you get a good look at your hand, and it's so young. The skin is tight and no wrinkles, no spots. Your fingers are long. Your features, as you kind of look down, you are tall. You are light. You hear sounds now, connecting with the nature and the natural world around you. You hear the chirping of birds. You hear the running of the river that you had fallen asleep on. You feel the grit of sand across your face, and as you wipe it off, again, that freshness and youngness. But you're not sure who you are, or where you are, or why you are. And those keen elven ears pick up the sound of a woman's voice as she, "Ah, yes, it's good you're awake. I was beginning to wonder about you."
Do I notice are the scales still there? I mean, are the scales there, rather? I guess I wouldn't know whether or not they were supposed to be or not.
You do notice that as you're kind of touching the side of your face, and not necessarily that you know what it is to be an elf, but there is a pattern to the way that your skin connects.
Huh.
Maybe not as scales, but there are lines that crisscross in that pattern.
And
you can't see color on the side of your face, obviously. So
am I still in a tattered shirt? Or
ripped to shreds. What hangs off of you barely preserves your modesty.
Okay, so this is all a bit confusing. I'm standing, ankle deep in water and feeling the sand under my feet.
Cold water.
Completely disoriented. Turn around and see who's talking.
It occurs to you as you turn around and she begins to speak again that this tongue feels unfamiliar, but you know it. It is not a language that you have spoken or understood before, but it is the language you speak and understand now. And as her high elf sylvan words fill your ears, she says, "So, what do you call yourself, and why have you washed on the shores of my banks?"
Forgive me. I don't know. My first memory is here. I don't know who I am.
She takes a deep breath and studies you intently. And it's then that you notice that although she is an elf, her hair has gray streaks in it. There are fine lines. She is very old by elven standards. Well, by any standards, but in those barely perceptible ways that elves age, you can see that she is old. And she stands up, leaning on what you originally thought was a stick, but as you look at it now, it is a bow that has delicate gold filigree throughout it. As you look at the bowstring, parts of it spark with electrical energy, and then almost seems to, like, the little sparks that shoot off of it freeze, and a cold mist, like when you open a freezer on a hot day, a cold mist burns off. Part of the bowstring looks like it's on fire. Part of the bowstring hums with a resonant arcane energy. And she leans on it as she stands. She says, "Well, you're not the first with no name that I've come across, but I didn't think to be finding another one in my old age. Very well, come with me, let's see what Cord has to say about you." And she turns and starts off towards the forest.
Oliver, kind of getting used to a lithe frame, sort of examining myself as I walk, half paying attention to the path, sort of seeing my a hand for the first time, and yet at the same time being familiar with it, and also at the same time it being completely and utterly foreign. And that's the biggest part for me, is the reconciliation that I don't know what this looks like, but at the same time, instinctually, it's been like this the whole time. Who is Cole?
She stops for a second, and although you're seeing her from behind, you see her head kind of tilt slightly. Cold, the highest of all the pantheon of deities? Are you sure you're from here?
Forgive me, matron. I don't know where I'm from.
She, in a very unelven way, almost snorts when you call her matron. And you get this sense of who she is, that although now she has this regal gentleness to her, that there is a history of some formidable power to her. And she just casually over her shoulder says, "My name is Viesa Yunsatra. It remains to be seen whether it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance." And she carries on.
Put in my place. Okay.
As you almost like a newborn deer, you're like kind of trying to figure out how your knees lock into the right place to get a graceful walk through the forest, almost tripping over some of the brambles and things, but not too far from where the shore and there's this little bit of forest. There is a forest clearing, a large tree in the center, and you can see the house that rises above it. I can hear a bunch of iMessage dings because this is a character from my home game, and all of my players have just started texting me about it.
Nice.
She's played by an adorable 7th grader who is one of my favorite humans on this planet. So this is for you, Viessa. This gigantic tree rises up, and this house, beautiful deck, a rope ladder, and Viessa quickly and lively climbs up it like there's no age to her bones at all, and stands up at this deck and says, well, come on, it's time to find out who you are.
So reach up, try to amble my way up the rope ladder, kind of like a lab puppy with all feet and no everything else is sort of catching up, and sort of awkwardly moving my feet about, clamber up the rope ladder.
As you are about halfway up, all of a sudden things kind of click, and it's odd. It strikes you as odd that all of a sudden you feel comfortable in this body that you didn't know a few moments ago, and you gracefully bring yourself up, popping up onto the top. And as you look over, you can see above these trees, this is a beautiful view. You see a large mountain off in the far, far distance, a snow-capped mountain, even on this hot, growingly hot summer day, a snow-capped mountain off in the distance. You can see a series of rolling, tumbling hills. You think you can see the ocean off to the west, but it might be your eyes playing tricks on you because they're so new to you. And as you look around, you do notice that on her leather armor there is a series of symbols, and one of them is lightning bolt. And for some reason you feel a connection to that.
You said that you could help me find out who I am.
I said Cord could help you do that.
Lead the way.
She opens the thatched door to her house and brings you in and kind of motions to a small, almost like wicker kind of ottoman poof that's on the ground. And as you sit there, she goes to a cabinet and pulls out a really delicate tea set, 2 little teacups, and powder, a can with some kind of powder in it, and then a second can. And she takes a kettle off of the fireplace that's over in the corner, pouring it into not the little tea kettle itself, but into each cup individually, and scoops out like a green, standard green looking tea, and also this dark inky black, kind of a almost oily substance, into the other cup, and she mixes them both with a spoon, and she sets the one with the black substance in front of you and the one with the green substance in front of her. She says, well, drink. We'll see what Cord has to say.
The battle of wits has begun. Take the cup in both hands and sort of stare at it. Drink it down.
She drinks hers as well. And you feel your body getting tired. And as your eyes close, you get a good long rest. And you wake up to the sound of rain pattering on the roof. Viesa's not there.
I'm in the same spot I was.
Yep. You do have this like lush green velvet blanket over you. A little bit of drool.
Well, I guess gather the blanket around me. Vesta? Wander outside.
You open the door, and as you step out onto the deck, you see Viesa sitting in a chair with her feet up on the railing, just kind of taking in the awesome sight of what you can now see is a storm that has come over the area. Flashes of lightning off in the distance, heavy rains, and while it does seem that there must be some kind of wind, none of it comes into the deck area.
Home. What was in that tea?
Sleeping powder. I had to speak to Cord, and I didn't want you milling about while I did it.
Oh. What did they say?
He says your name is Thunder Soul. And that you have a long history, and that I should not fully trust you, but that I am to help you.
Well then, thank you.
Don't thank me
I
yet.
don't-
My training is difficult, and you might not survive it. She strums on the string of her bow, which is not far. Never far from her.
I don't. Forgive me. I don't know why you would have reason to not trust me. This is all new. But you have the answers I seek. No time like the present, I suppose.
I can appreciate that spirit. She pulls out a dagger and cuts your arm. Blood immediately springs from it. And she says, "Go ahead, heal yourself."
How?
I don't know. I'm more of a paladin than a cleric, but you should be able to figure it out. I don't know. Feel the healing or something.
I stare at the wound. How am I supposed to heal this? I don't have a... What, do you think I should just put my hand on it and concentrate really hard, or I don't know. Hey, Horde, help some out and think really hard, focus. I don't know, think about the lightning bolt. Think about the things that I've found some measure of affinity to. Sort of think about sort of emphasizing that energy or sort of focus of will into the wound, knowing full well in my brain that it's not going to work.
Yeah. As you focus and you almost jokingly, almost irreverently say, "Hey, Cord, You want to help me? A lightning bolt strikes just near the tree, and startled, you lift your hand, and your arm is fully healed. You are a cleric.
Hope he doesn't die this time.
What? Do I have a connection to God?
No, and that's what's so unnerving to us. But the storm seems to have claimed you, and I'm not sure about that either. In any case, you've washed up on my shore, and being a servant of the Storm Lord, I guess I'm the one who's supposed to, I don't know, connect it to you. I'm going to be honest. It seems ridiculous, but I've been in the company of ridiculous people for many days, and this is my course.
I, for one, appreciate it. I am at a complete loss. I guess every journey starts with a single step.
I think every journey starts with figuring out what you could do, and she stabs you again. Heal yourself. Let's go.
So I think about the storm. I think about the lightning bolt. I think about focus, the energy, the rawness of the lightning. I really sort of concentrate on it, and I kind of almost beckon lightning to my hand in a sense, sort of thing. It's like just tap into that power, and sort of just hold my hand over, but not completely touching, and see if I can sort of.
It comes quicker this time.
Summon the power of that lightning to.
Yes, you can tap into this arcane power quicker this time. And as you feel the wound close, you lift up your hand almost with like a cocky grin on your face, elf. And she goes, "Good," again, and slices your hand again.
Jesus. I'm running out of spell slots.
Oh, you're out, buddy. But she's not a cleric, and she doesn't know that.
Oh, great.
So as you go this time, the blood now pouring out from your hand, and you focus, and again, kind of those sparks, and there is something about the raw energy, and like when you're in the midst of a huge thunderstorm and you can almost feel your hair start to stand from the static, and you go to open your hand again with like this shit-eating grin on your face, blood is still pouring out. And she's like, yes, you are quite new at this.
It worked before.
Yes, well,
Why isn't
you
it
don't
working
get
now?
to do it just all the time. That's not how these things work. You've got to save your energy.
Try again. Summon, really focused, picturing like arcing from my fingertips, arcing shocking grasp almost, sort of just like that arcing electrical current between one hand and the other.
A lightning bolt shoots down from behind you. And she's like, "This is my home, and if you burn it, I will not be training you. Relax yourself."
Apologies. I've only learned now that I can heal myself.
Well, I think that you can probably heal others too. I'm just not willing to stab myself. Give me your hand. And she reaches out. She doesn't even wait for your consent. She just grabs it and wraps a bandage that now you notice she had sitting by her little table there,
Great.
and bandages up your hand. She
Great.
says, I think that you'll be able to do some more of this tomorrow, but you have some study to do, and I'm going to write to some of my friends. I think they may be of service to us.
What should I do?
She nods to the chair next to her. Let's enjoy the storm.
Resignedly, kind of like the kid that's learned how to ride a bicycle for the first time and then hopped on it himself, tried to bicycle all by himself without his parent pushing him, and he fell. Sort of that dejected, well, okay, sure. Sort of sits in the chair and opens himself up to the storm in a sense of just sort of tries to feel the temperature difference, the any weather pattern change, the pressure change that would come with the lightning, thunderclouds, and the rain, and sort of bask as best he can, not knowing who or what he is or why.
You catch her out of the corner of your eye, just looking at you as you're focusing in.
Do I still have the cantrips that I had?
You can certainly try.
I mean, I don't know necessarily, but sort of see if I can sort of manifest it while I'm concentrating. See if I can sort of almost sort of bring part of the storm, or sort of be in touch with our sort of thing, and maybe manifest like the equivalent of a shocking grasp on my hands, not actually touching any furniture or anything, but just sort of like feeling that energy and sort of prickling the sort of draw it in and up my arms or something, just to sort of feel that connection.
As you close your eyes, kind of ignoring the fact that she's looking at you, and you listen to the patter of rain and the storm, you can hear the energy of it around you. And as you're just quiet for a few moments, trying to figure out this body and who you are and what you can do, the hair on your left arm starts to stand up straight away from the skin. And as you kind of glance over, you notice that the string of her bow is arcing out with energy directly towards you and connecting with you in a way of like, you know, one of those balls you used to be able to get from like Hot Topic.
Nice.
When you touch the glass, that is what is happening here. And she says, I've never been able to control Artie in that way. It usually does what it wants. That's a unique power that you have.
I didn't know I had it. I don't even know how to turn it off.
She just thinks about it for a few moments. and then grabs the wooden handle of the bow and moves the bow to the other side of her chair away from you. And that seems to sever the connection for now. And she says, don't wear yourself out for today. Tomorrow is going to be a very, very long day of training for you.
Good.
And that's where we'll close for tonight. So excellent work, first off, to my goblin hunters, and also to my now elven player character. I love it. Well done, everybody. I'm excited to see where all of this goes. I'm glad that you guys like Viessa. I hope that everybody does. She is a much beloved character in my world. Let's go around and get everybody to pimp anything that they're doing and like talk about anything else that we've got going on. And then I know that Sarah is going to be looking for someone for us to raid into while we're doing that as well. So let's go over to our Genasi monk, Jart.
Yeah, okay, everyone, thank you for being with us. This was a very cool session. I feel we're getting the hang of it as a party. You can find me as Najra or Najra Creations. I'll drop the links on the chat. I'm a professional cosmaker, so if you need any pieces for your cosplay, just let me know.
I definitely need some kind of. You guys always look good week after week. I'm gonna have to commission you to get me like some awesome game master or something.
Get your cool cloak.
I need some, but not hot. Like I'm at that age where the hot flashes have started, and I can't.
You can use 100% cotton, linen.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something light. I appreciate that. Okay. Above that, Amanda.
Amanda, I play Whimsy, the definitely not a warlock. He is a he, they, I'm she, her. You can find me at Balderdashing on Instagram. I'm not really anywhere else. I technically have a Twitter, but I haven't been on it in months, so there's really no point. I do not have any other projects going. I am way too busy with life right now. But everyone else's stuff sounds exciting.
We're glad that you make time for us. We are happy to hoard you like a dragon hoards gold. So thank you for making time for us. Sarah.
Hey, I'm Sarah. I played Graja. You can find me on Twitter at MC Diebeats. I'm a creative partner at Martlet Games. You can find me also on the Vancouver by Night channel as part of the Saturday Vampire Takeover. We are in that first slot at 12 p.m. Pacific time. We're on our mid-season break right now, but Martlet Games is filling up the slot with different one-shots. I was in the special Sabat Grindhouse double feature this past Saturday, yesterday. So that was great fun. We have all of our stuff on the Martlet Games YouTube channel. I was the storyteller for a period Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition chronicle called London's Bleeding. We're just about to wrap the epilogues for the first season. Again, that's all on YouTube at your leisure. I had a really great time doing that. I'm really proud of it. So I'd really enjoy if you check that out. It's a little bit of a different vibe than some of the other vampire games. Other than that, just keep an eye on my Twitter and Martlet Games, and I'm living. Like, I love this D&D game. Like, I'm so happy to be here. It's such a nice departure after being immersed in the world of darkness for so long. It's great to walk around in the daylight. So thanks everybody for having me, and thanks so much everybody at home.
Fantastic. I love it. Mike.
Hi, Mike. He, him. Player of Villain. Also he, him, I guess, at this point. Elven cleric, apparently. You can catch my pre and post, hopefully soon post-COVID adventures in cosplay at Canadian Captain America on Instagram or CDN Captain America on Twitter. I am also part of the Saturday Takeover vampire game here on the Vancouver by Night channel. I play here on Sundays, and I am the DM for the Would Be Heroes 5th edition D&D live stream here as well on this channel on Tuesdays at 6. Yeah, I think that's it. I may be doing some cameos with regards to the Changeling game that will soon be happening after this particular game on Sundays, and I will be doing some one-shot Patreon recordings with some other players for the vampire game shortly, so stay tuned for those.
Awesome. Lovely. Nikki.
Hi there, Nikki. I play Denny. You can find me at I'm Poppy Field on Instagram, and you can find Abigail and her brother Edmund at field.cats, also on Instagram. That's about all I have going on, but I am also very excited to be here, and thank you all for coming out and seeing us. Is that right, Abigail? Yeah.
Oh, Abigail, we love her. And I have been your dungeon master, game master tonight, Sarah, or this afternoon, depending on where you are. I am the dungeon master here. I also play the cleric, Izamina Lascelle, Tuesday nights here on Vancouver by Night at the Would Be Heroes game that Mike DMs. And I have no current intention to play vampire because it seems scary and like a lot of rules and I just don't understand it, you guys, but I'm sure that they're gonna drag me into
listen, when you're ready to play vampire, let me know.
Oh boy, I'm getting a hot flash again. And thank you all for joining us. I also want to say a huge thank you to Steve and Vancouver by Night for letting us stream on their channel. Please help out the Patreon and subscribing and all of that kind of stuff. I know that we're trying to get a much better production rig so that my poor computer can have a bit of a rest. So if you would help out with that, thank you. And also if you would just tell somebody else about our game and help them to see it, maybe on YouTube or to join live, that would be awesome because I am really proud of my players and I think we're on to something special. And with that being said, everybody's now level 2. We will see you guys next week. Bye, everybody. Bye. Oh, where are we raiding, Sarah?
We're gonna raid, I believe, into Paradise RPG that is doing a Jasper's Game Day charity. So please stick around for the raid. Thank you so much.
Paradise, yeah. Awesome. Jasper's Game Day, level 2. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.